for joining me today. This is Humblehus. We're making a very simple rainbow headband. A wide headband. You can put it on with anything. It is the cutest thing. Let's get started. You will need 4 different colors, at least. If you want to add more, that's fine. Of capri yarn. It is a medium 4 weight. They recommend a crochet hook between 5.5 and 6 millimeters. So I will be using a 5 millimeter. I always tend to go down in size. I don't know why. It doesn't matter, you know, if you're in between any of those. Obviously, the bigger the size, the wider the stitch will be. Scissors, yarn needle, or any needle that has a big eye. Stitch markers. If you don't have a stitch marker, you can use paper clips and a measuring tape. Another thing about the yarn is I have one of the little papers here. It is 57% cotton, 20% nylon, and 15% polyester. Hand wash warm, do not bleach, dry flat. Obviously, the yarn is quite stretchy. Take that into consideration, whatever yarn you're using. I will start with this hot pink color. Take your yarn and make a slip knot. If you don't know how to make a slip knot, all you do is form a loop. Then you take your hook, insert into the circle, go under the yarn, pull that so that that loose end or that finishing end through the middle of the circle, and while holding on to both yarns or both ends, you want to pull. Then adjust until you have your slip knot. We start by chaining at least 30 chains. The way you do that is yarn over your hook, twist, and pull it through that loop. That is that first chain. The reason why I say at least 30 is because you have to measure it. The length that you need is the head circumference of the child. Let's say my baby, she's 10 months old, her head circumference is 18 inches. I want to take off about 1.5 inches to 2 inches, especially with this stretchy yarn. So I need to do as many chains as it takes until I have about 16 inches of chains. I want to show you what 30 chains measure, just to give you an idea. It's about 6.5 inches. And you do want to make note of how many chains you are making. So keep count of them. I have chained 72. And this is about 16 inches. Okay, you don't really want to pull on it. You know, keep it flat. Write the number down. You want to remember that. Now, you want to make sure that your chain is straight, because we need to put the 2 sides together. You need to go into that very first chain. It's not always very easy to see. That is that first chain from the other side, and we will make a slip stitch here. You yarn over and you pull it through that first loop, and then through the loop that was on your hook, like that. That is your first slip stitch. Now you chain 1, and you want to do a single crochet into that same stitch. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and yarn over and pull through the 2 loops that are on your hook. This is where you want to put your stitch marker to know where you need to connect again when you've come around. And keep going onto the next stitch. You insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through both loops. Again into that next one, insert your hook through that one loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And if you don't remember how many you have already, this is your first one, the one with the stitch marker, then 2 and 3. So I have 3 single crochets so far, and I need to have 72, or the chains that you made. I am back here at my stitch marker and I have 72 stitches. You will insert your hook. So if you want to make sure that you go into the right place, don't take out the stitch marker yet. Just insert your hook through both of those loops from that previous stitch. Now take out the stitch marker, make a slip stitch. Remember, yarn over, pull through and pull through that other loop as well. Now chain 1, and now we will go into that same stitch again with a single crochet. Add your stitch marker and then repeat the same thing for this second row. All single crochets until you come back to your stitch marker. We are done with row number 2. Into that stitch with the stitch marker, insert your hook. Now you can take out your stitch marker and do your slip stitch as usual. This is where we will switch colors. Grab the new yarn, then form a little loop, pull it through. Now pull tightly on that pink color so that this is your new loop. Now chain 1, and into that same stitch we will do our first single crochet. Again, add your stitch marker and continue with single crochets. We're going to do 3 rows in each color. You can of course do more, but it might be a bit wide. I will keep doing the same thing for the next 3 rows, and at this point you can also cut off the pink color, and then we will thread it in at the end. Now it's time to switch colors. Once again, we will insert our hook into the stitch with the stitch marker, then remove it, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull up another loop, so that's the slip stitch. Now we grab our new color and pull up a loop, pull tight on that aqua color, the turquoise color. You can't even see that loop. And now chain 1 with the new color and make a single crochet into the same stitch. Insert your stitch marker and repeat for the next 3 rows. All around 3 rows of single crochet, and you should have the same amount of stitches in each row. In my case, that's 72. Now I know we only had 2 rows with the pink, and the reason why we're doing 3 rows with the other colors is because we have that base chain, so it looks a little bit small if you only do 2 rows, and that's why we go up 3 rows on the other colors. Then in the last color we might just do 2 rows and end with a row of slip stitch. Now we get to the last color that we'll be switching to. Then after that last round, do your slip stitch as usual. Now we take the new color, pull it through and pull on that coral colored one. Now chain 1 with the yellow and do your single crochet into that same stitch. Add your stitch marker. You can cut off the coral colored one. Now for this yellow, only do 2 rows of single crochet. Now you've done 2 rounds of single crochets in this last color. Join again with a slip stitch. Chain 1, and now into this same stitch you will only do a slip stitch again, not a single crochet. Then again into the next one, do a slip stitch. You can put your stitch marker here if you want. Basically all we want to do is add a little bit more height so that it has about the same height as the pink color, not as much as the 2 middle ones. And that is the reason why you're only doing a slip stitch into each stitch. Go all the way around, then we'll be done and I'll meet you back at your stitch marker. That's the end of it. Then join with a slip stitch into that first stitch. I'll cut off the yellow yarn as well. And what I like to do is I yarn over and pull up a loop, and I just pull it all the way through and tighten it. Now we have all these threads still hanging here, which we need to thread them into the back. Grab your yarn needle, and I'll show it to you with one, and then you'll do the rest of them. Thread that in, go into the stitches here, and then go back, kind of skip one and come back around, so like that. You made it, you did it, you're done with the headband. Isn't it cool? I think it's very cool. I think it looks adorable and so colorful. Thank you guys for joining me. Please subscribe and follow me at Humblehus on Instagram. I would love to see all of your work, and I will see you soon. This is Humblehus. Bye!